Call this meeting to order at 6:33 p.m. We begin with public input. If anybody has any comments, we have one at the microphone already. So just make sure you say your name and your address for the record.
My name is Barbara Mantier. I'm a teacher at the Batch. Yes, that's my address, 175 Park Street.
Yes.
Thank you for allowing me to be here this evening. I have been both a kindergarten and grade 1 teacher at the Batch for 18 years. I've spent numerous years serving on the executive board of the NRHS, which is our teachers union in town, and the last 2.5 years as the president. I'm here tonight to talk about the unseen but heavily felt effects that have impacted our youngest learners due to a failed override. I worry what will become next year and the years after if something is not done to ensure that these budgetary gaps are filled. By being both an early educator and union president, I have a unique experience and perspective. As a teacher, I collaborate and communicate daily with the teachers on my floor. And as a union president, I hear about all of the concerns from each school. This year, due to a failed override, our kindergarten students took the biggest hit, an impact that was not seen or felt by many that are outside of the schools. Some of our kindergarten teachers were given the task of manning a classroom of 20 students solo, a job that they have always done with a paraprofessional by their side. Not only were they juggling the needs alone, the district also had to hold on to the free half-day program as the NRPS vision of free full day was gone without that override. This second punch proved to be a challenge for those teachers who had the hybrid classroom, a small group of half-day students mixed in with full-day students. Now teachers were coupled with how to deliver a robust curriculum to all students and half the time with half the manpower. To say it has been heartbreaking to watch and talk about it with my colleagues as they ride this roller coaster is an understatement. We are educators. It is in our definition to help, to teach, to mentor, and when we feel like we are failing these babies, it's a burden that nobody wants to bear. As a grade 1 teacher, I too have an enormous responsibility that I do not take lightly. By the time my students leave, they need to be reading, writing paragraphs, speaking in complete sentences, be fluent in addition and subtraction, and much, much more beyond academics. Over the last 3 to 5 years, North Reading has been investing in its early literacy and adapting the science behind reading and remodeling our literacy block. Interventionists were added at each building to support the MTSS model in literacy and math. And don't forget, a goal of Dr. Daly's NRPS 2025 vision was to add 2 more interventionists, a math coach, and a literacy coach. But here we are. With everything that we had gained, it was all lost in June. Interventionist positions were cut, visions were lost, and feeling the biggest brunt without knowing it yet again were our youngest and most vulnerable K-2 learners. According to research, for a student with reading difficulties, it takes 4 times longer to intervene in 4th grade than in late kindergarten. With early interventions and prevention programs, we can reduce the number of children who are placed in special education by 70%. And 90% of children with reading difficulties will achieve grade-level reading if they receive the right help before the end of 1st grade. By removing those imperative positions, students are missing out on essential interventions that are hard to come by when classroom teachers are being left to do it alone. Teaching is not a solo sport. Just like parenting, it takes a village. And although many might think that removing a para or an extra few people who were just support wasn't a big deal, it really was, and it is. In the 18 years that I have been lucky enough to teach here, I have watched this district grow and evolve into something really special. It scares me to think about what may happen next year or the year after if this trend needs to continue in order to balance the budget and we never actually see Dr. Daly's vision come forth. North Reading children cannot afford more valuable educators to be lost. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any other public comments?
Yes. Hi, my name is Carolyn Kane, and I also teach at the Batchelder School, so 175 Park Street. And I've been teaching full-day kindergarten at the Batchelder School for over 20 years now. I work very hard to pave a positive foundation for each student and their families for their future in the North Reading Public Schools. It's an honor to be a small part in the educational journey of my students past, present, and future. Throughout the years, I have encountered a wide variety of behaviors, academic needs, emotional abilities, and physical challenges among my students. I have rolled with the changes and demands of the curriculum. I have been through fun and heartbreak in this community, and have always been able to face the challenges knowing that my students and I would be okay. I knew I would be okay because I never did this alone. I am so lucky to work with a team of intelligent, creative, supportive teachers. I have also been fortunate to have amazing paraprofessionals by my side that have gone above and beyond their job description year after year. That was until this year. This year, I was tasked to meet the needs of 20 students, 3 of whom who go home after lunch and recess, with a 50% reduction of the support that I have relied on for over 20 years. There are 2 issues here. First is the half-day program that we still offer as the free and public kindergarten education. Aside from the administrative logistical nightmare this program presents each year, it's a personal struggle for me in terms of managing and prioritizing the curriculum each day. However, at the heart of this program is the issue of equity. You know the demands of our curriculum and the social emotional needs of our students. How are we supposed to come close to supporting these students in about 2.5 hours a day? I am hopeful that this will be remedied in the very near future. The second issue of eliminating kindergarten paraprofessionals has been more difficult to swallow. We still have roughly the same number of students in our classrooms as we did 20 years ago. The curriculum, however, is far more demanding and rigorous compared to what we did then. The needs of our students and their families have also shifted dramatically over the years, and yet instead of boosting human support, we have taken them away. 5- and 6-year-olds require so much attention, not only to be successful, but more importantly, to be safe. In the past, if a student has a bloody nose, needs to leave early, or has a bit of a meltdown, there was always another adult there to keep the class moving along, to keep the curriculum moving along. Now, everything comes to a screeching halt. As an experienced teacher, more often than not, I can rebound, but I feel it. This feeling of not being able to complete things or trying to figure out what I can get done without the help of another consistent adult or finding the time to meet the needs of my strugglers is a level of frustration and exhaustion that stings differently. The priority of our kindergarten paras has always been the students. They play an integral part in meeting the academic, physical, and social emotional needs of our students. I work in a wing of kindergarten and first grade teachers. We are working harder than ever to ensure that our youngest students don't fail. It's not in us to let things go. We're problem solvers, and know that despite what other people think is cute, we know that it's necessary work. This approach is not sustainable. Are you okay with the long-term consequences of these recent budget cuts? I don't dare imagine how daunting your job is. It just makes me sad to think that with all the craziness that so many school districts have faced in the last year or so, that they still manage to maintain their kindergarten programs with full-time paraprofessionals. Why can't we? I don't think this is a financial issue. I believe we can find qualified, willing people to support our youngest learners somewhere in one of our buildings, but that demand has got to come from the top down. And it may take time and creativity to figure it out, but it would be worth it. The influence of kindergarten paraprofessionals is immeasurable on the effectiveness of our classrooms, the bond with our students, and the impact on the culture of our school community. I implore you to find a way to make this right. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we don't often comment too much, but I will make a couple quick comments. And first, I would just say, I think budget is a huge issue, and we need to continue talking about it. March 10th is the first budget hearing, so I would love for people to be here to hear what's going on, because the issues are not getting better. They're going to get worse. And I sat at St. Teresa's for most of the vote for the override. I had multiple people roll down the window and flip me off or swear at me for the budget override, and I sat there the whole time, tried to keep a smile on my face, and it's really disappointing. And so I'm not going to get into the merits of like what's going to be cut, or if we don't get overrides, or if we don't do anything. We're going to have a lot of time to discuss it, but I think it's really important that people are involved. It'd be great to see people at the meetings, to hear from the teachers, to hear from community members. I think it's really important. And register to vote. It starts with voting, being at town meeting, voting for local elections, not just presidential elections. And so, again, I'm not going to go into, potential cuts or budget deficits or anything like that yet, because we have many months to talk about that. But I very much appreciate you guys coming and giving the perspective. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments or?
No, I'll just add to that briefly and say, it's not like we're waiting for the 10th for these discussions to happen.
Right.
They've been happening pretty much throughout the year. And again, I'm not going to get ahead of it, but know that this is a paramount problem, not just with us, with other towns, but, all politics is local. It matters to us. It matters to you guys. And we really appreciate you guys coming in and the things you said. It really it really hits home, so thank you.
Ms. Leanders?
Hi. Just like Scott and Jeff said, I just want to thank you for coming in because I think I really appreciate it. It's so important, and I wish more people were on this Zoom call or they're in the audience to hear about this. And it saddens me so much. I've been in those kindergarten classrooms and in those first grade classrooms, and I didn't even know how you were doing it with paras. I was in awe of it. And as Scott said, we haven't, made any decisions or anything like that yet, but I will be, hoping sending a link to this to my social media and my school committee page and anything like this, because I hope as many people in the community can hear what is happening to our youngest learners, because it really makes me sad. So thank you so much for your time. And we knew that there would be impacts with the cuts. We were all aware of that, but to hear what happens on a day-to-day basis is really important for us to know.
And then just to wrap up, kind of piggybacking on what she said, this segment of our meeting is public input, and it's wonderful to hear from the teachers. The unfortunate thing is our meetings usually aren't even this well attended. There's usually no one here and very few people online. So I think what you have to say is so valuable, and it's what all voters in town should hear, not just people who are tuning into a school committee meeting, not just the school committee members, but the voters. And for that reason, I would encourage you to publish these beautifully written, testaments in the transcript, because I think it's important for everyone to read them.
Kim, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I'll piggyback on Noelle here too. Having a lowly attended school committee meeting is a sign of a very well-run school district. But we're entering a time now where it's really critically important that the entire community be aware of the decisions that need to be made, regardless of your position on where it stands. Me personally, I'm dumbfounded that we still have to have paid tuition in kindergarten. Like, to me, that is a huge red flag, or one of, was it 13, Dr. Daly, towns left in the state that actually make you pay to go to kindergarten for a full day. And that's one of the many items on the list that we need to address, but hearing the kindergarten stories firsthand, that's a big one for me too. So all I can do is encourage people to get involved, come to these school committee meetings, come to the budget hearings, and people can make people around town aware of the impacts of what are going on, so we can make better informed decisions moving forward to May and June here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not,
Moving on.
I'm not sure if there's any other public comment.
Oh, yeah, any other public comment? I looked, I didn't see any more hands up or anything.
Anybody?
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Move on to student report. We have two students here, Sina Nickerson and Ben Russell, classes of 2027 and 2026. So welcome, and we're here for you.
Hello. For notable academic matters, we have grades are beginning to meet with guidance counselors for course selection. Juniors are meeting with their guidance counselors throughout this week, and then sophomores are meeting with their guidance counselors within the next month to discuss their course selection.
For notable fine arts matters, the a cappella group Notorious won the quarterfinals for the ICHSA, and they will move on to compete in the semifinals on March 16th in Worcester. And the One Act has their first public performance coming up on February 27th.
For notable athletic matters, senior nights for sports are coming up. Boys basketball had their senior night on Monday night. Girls basketball has theirs Thursday night. Boys hockey had theirs Saturday morning. And then boys and girls track became Cape Ann League champions. There was 2 new records that were set. New boys track 4x4 school record, and then new girls track 4x4 school record. And then spring sports registration is now open for students who want to do a spring sport.
Just some other information. February break starts next week for all the students and faculty. And on February 5th, last week, the North Reading Student Council worked with the Hood School Student Council to make bags for, what was it for?
We made blessing bags. We made 175 blessing bags for the Lazarus House.
And there's just generally a lot of Valentine's Day fundraisers in the school. The Student Council has one going on. Interact One has one going on, and the class of 2027 has one as well.
And then for my student report and Foundations of Art, we painted like Bob Ross. So I brought my Bob Ross painting. If I can pass this around, I want to pass it around for everyone.
Did you have to study up on Bob Ross? Did you watch some of his
We
shows?
just watched the one video and we had to just paint like him, and however it turned out, it turned out.
There are those happy little trees.
Yeah.
Are you a fan now?
I've always liked Bob Ross, but like, I think I'm a bigger fan now.
Thank you.
For my student work report, I am a class of 2027 class officer, and as I just mentioned, we have our own fundraiser going on, where we are selling chocolate roses. So you can send one to like a friend, or you can just buy one for yourself, and they're delivered on Valentine's Day. So this is a poster that we made. I don't know if you can see it that well.
Yeah.
That's
That we
awesome.
made for that. So that's going on this week.
Is this the first time you're doing that, or?
The first time we're doing this specific fundraiser, but we've done other ones in the past.
Well, thank you. Questions, comments, anybody?
First off, I think this is the first time you guys have done this. Let me just say, I could never do what you're doing, like when I was your age, so congratulations. Takes a ton of courage, and you guys did a great job. Also, you know, Notorious is winning track records. I mean, the great balance between academic and arts just continues, as it always seems to. And last weekend was the middle school show, and was pretty phenomenal. So we all had kids in that show.
The lighting was perfect.
Let me just say, you know, thank you guys for participating, and you know, everything that gets announced, it's why we do this. So thank you.
So I have a couple questions. First, you talked about course selection. For people that maybe don't know the high school course, can you talk a little bit about like what that entails, what you're taking, and in particular, maybe some of the electives that are being offered right now? that you might
So
choose? Yeah.
there's, in the high school schedule, there's a green day and there's a gold day. Each day has 4 different classes, so you have to take 4, like, I think it's Common Core classes, so like your math, your English, your history, your science, and then you get either 4 electives, or depending on what schedule, like, or depending on your schedule, you might have less electives. So I had academic support, so that took away an elective spot for me. So I only have 2 electives this year. And some of the electives you can do, like, we have a bunch of business ones and art, and a bunch of art ones. So we have like marketing, financial management, intro to business. For art, we have foundations of art, drawing and painting.
Chorus, intro to theater.
And yeah, and there's also like some other ones like, is there architectural design?
Yeah.
There's video production if you wanted to do that. There's like,
There's something for everyone.
yeah.
Good. And then, since it is your first time, if you guys can maybe introduce yourselves a little bit, like what do you guys do outside of school? What are you involved in here? We always kind of like to hear, I mean, I kind of know both of you a little bit, so I know a little bit of your connections, but I'm curious, like, what are you guys involved in outside of school?
I do maskers. So I was in the musical in the past, and I'm in the one act right now. And in the spring, I will run in the track.
Good. And you were great in the musical, by the way.
Thank you.
I am a part of the North Reading Student Council. I'm a part of the Unified Program too. And then for Student Council in the spring, I will be running for regional president for Student Council. So, yeah.
Amazing. Well, good luck in that. You know, you're great in the Unified too, so.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Great job.
Okay. Well, thank you guys very much, and you guys are welcome to stay as long as you want, but you can also leave, so. Okay. So we try to get the students in first, so we do have a couple people here for trip approval, so we're gonna jump ahead, and I think we have both the Notorious and the Maskers, so I'll leave it to you who wants to come first or second.
Yeah, Notorious, you promised to sing your requests.
I was about to say exactly the same thing.
I'm kidding, but I wouldn't have.
I'm not.
And congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Start with the Notorious.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Olivia Rowe, and I am the Internal Affairs Manager of Notorious. This is Eulalia Ganis, the External Affairs Manager, and Vinny and Mikey are our two music directors. So tonight we're going to be talking to you about our trip to New York City in April, and this trip is contingent upon whether or not we place first at semifinals in March at Mechanics Hall. So this whole presentation is going to be contingent upon whether or not we win. So just getting into a little bit about what the trip would look like. We would leave on Thursday, April 24th. We would meet Mrs. Kane and Miss Bowman, one of our chaperones at Amtrak Boston South Station at 6:30 a.m. And we'll be departing at 7:15 a.m. We'll arrive at Penn Station probably around 10:50, and we'll walk to the hotel and just kind of put our baggage away. The hotel we would stay at is the 4 Points by Sheridan. Varsity Vocals, which is the host for ICHSA and ICCA, is the one who kind of reserves our rooms for us. So that's where we stayed 4 years ago as well. And we'll just eat lunch, and we're going to go to the Broadway Museum, the Broadway League Tour, Ellen Stardust Diner. Maybe we'll see a Broadway show, just a lot of fun stuff. And then at 10:15, we'll walk back to the hotel for curfew. And then April 25th is our big competition day, so we'll check in at the town hall, which is where our performance is in New York City, at around 9:15. And we'll kind of stay there the day for sound checks. We'll have dinner around 5, and then the performance is at 7 p.m. And then after, we'll go to Ben & Jerry's for ice cream. On Saturday, we have complimentary breakfast throughout the whole stay, and that's just kind of time to look around Times Square and Rockefeller Center. Maybe we'll see a Broadway show, hopefully. And then we're going to go to watch ICCA, which is the Collegiate International Competition. It's always really cool to see all the college groups, and that is also at 10 p.m. at the town hall. And then on Sunday, we're going to head back to Boston. We'll check out of the hotel probably at 10 a.m., and then we'll head back at 11:11 and probably arrive at back at around 3:07 p.m. So yeah, that's kind of what the trip looks like.
So like said before, my name's Eulalia. I'm Notorious External Affairs Manager. And just to summarize the total costs per student, transportation would cost about $182 per student, with the Amtrak costs about $91, $182 total, $91 per student. Lodging would be about $545 per student. Since we have a group of 14, we would have to book a room for 4 students in each room, which would cost about $1,528 per room, but that's just the cost on the website, not the rate that they have given us, so it would probably be even lower than that. For food, it would be about $250 per student, and entertainment, like the tours and the educational stuff, it would be $525 per student. So an estimated $1,500 for each student for 4 days in New York. So in order to subsidize those costs, we do lots of fundraisers. Last time we went to finals, we used something called Snap Raise, which took about 20% of the total funds that we raised. But this time, it would be done by the Music Boosters, which would mean we wouldn't have to lose that extra 20%, which would be really beneficial for us. Parent groups, the Notorious Parent Group would run groupie t-shirt sales, which would really subsidize costs as well. And we would also have a benefit concert, our Sing Fling, on April 11th, run by Miss Kane, which also brings in a lot of funds that would help us a lot. So, yeah.
Thank you very much. I have one question to start. The link for the groupie t-shirts is not live right now, correct?
Not yet.
Okay, I looked yesterday because it wasn't on there.
He wants one.
I know the other one, of course I want one. Of course I want. Any questions, comments?
No, it sounds very exciting. Really
Yes,
good.
I hope-
Good luck.
Hope you get to use it this year. Well, that would be great. Okay, we have Jen is not here, so we're gonna have to do a roll call vote. So if I can have a motion to approve the ICHSA finals trip.
I move to approve the North Reading High School ICHSA finals trip for 2025.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second, so we'll do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
Good luck.
and now, now the maskers.
Hi, I'm Sophia Nalivo. I'm the president of Maskers this year, and we're here today to present the trip to Connecticut in May for the Stephen Sondheim Awards. So first off, I just wanted to talk about what are the Sondheim Awards. So they're a high school level competition based in the Northeast section, and they're modeled off of the Tonys and the Jimmies, which are just more competitive competitions of the same sort in order to highlight people within the musical world. The Tonys are at the Broadway level and the Jimmies are at the high school level, but national. And they're just made to emphasize the importance of arts education and highlight both students and directors for being like great in their craft. And there are 14 different categories that we could possibly be nominated for. And one of them is a special category. It presents 2 scholarships to 2 different high school seniors, which is funded by the Jamie A. Hulley Arts Foundation. And the winners of Best Actor and Best Actress, those awards will go on to participate in the Jimmies, which is the competition in New York City in June for high schoolers all across America. The event includes a red carpet entrance, performances by nominees, and awards presented by Broadway actors and alumni of the Stephen Sondheim Awards.
Hi, I'm Michael Manupelli, and I'm the Secretary of Maskers, and I'm here to talk about some important dates. On April 28th, that's when that's when the nominations are announced. So we'll meet in the Media Center as a club. We'll watch a Google Meet, which will say what we're nominated for, if any, and all the other schools. So it's like a little get together. On May 12th to 16th, if any of the people listed are nominated for Best Actor, Best Actress, they will attend this boot camp which is May 12th to 16th. It's 4 days, and they will be missing school. They will be missing school for that, but they'll be doing master classes. Then this is their true audition to see if they will win the actual competition. On May 17th is the actual event. It's the awards gala. You'll hear more about that day. It's kind of packed full of stuff. We have rehearsals, which you'll hear about in the next slide, and you'll hear about the event, the actual event, in another slide. But it's basically we take pictures. It's where we'll actually hear if we'll win. Hopefully, if we're nominated for Best Musical, we'll perform on stage there in front of everyone. There's a blue carpet and a red carpet. And we polled students and families. We'll have 40 students attending. Our entire directorial staff will be attending for chaperones, and the trip is open to everyone who participated in Mean Girls. We will be staying overnight for Friday the 15th until Sunday the 17th.
Okay. Rehearsal process. So, leading up to the event, if we are nominated for Best Musical, we are going to have to send in 3 songs from the musical, and Sondheim picks which songs that we are going to perform, and it will be 1 song on stage during the gala. So what we want to do is, a couple weeks ahead of the actual event, we are going to meet as a group downstairs in Mrs. Kane's room, and we are going to rehearse the song that we're performing, because we need to relearn the music, relearn choreo. And something we like to emphasize is, even if some students weren't in that song during the show, it's important to us that we put all students in this song so everyone gets a great experience. Another process is for the leading actress and actresses nomination. When they go down the week prior to the gala, they're gonna have to take those master classes, and they're gonna have to rehearse with the other nominees. And it's a great experience for them, because it really, if they're going into this for their career. It gives them a great experience of what it's actually going to feel like. Another rehearsal that we have is we are lucky enough to send down a couple students on the Friday, early Friday, typically seniors, and they will be rehearsing to perform in the opening and closing acts for the gala. And this is a really cool experience because it gets you to meet other students who are interested in theater and possibly going into this business. And so then in the future, you could possibly know someone who you're going into business with. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Matt Mulcahy. I am the Vice President of Maskers, and I will be discussing transportation for the whole trip. The earliest that students would be traveling to Connecticut is May 12th, and those are the students that would be nominated for Best Leading Actor and Actress. And they would stay there the whole week, as mentioned before. But the majority of and those students would travel up to Connecticut in a personal vehicle driven by Mrs. Kane. The majority of students will be going up on May 16th, and they will take a bus provided by North Reading Transportation up there. On the gala day, it's very packed with rehearsals, as Anthony was talking about. So we will be taking a bus provided by B&B Coach Services that will transport us around that entire day. And then on May 18th, when we travel back to North Reading, we will be taking another bus provided by North Reading Transportation.
Hello, my name is Eliana Rainey, and I am the underclassmen representative of Maskers, and I will be talking about the hotel that we will be staying in. So, we will be staying at a Residence Inn by Marriott in New Haven, Connecticut for the nights of Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th. The price is $199 per night, not including tax and applicable fees. And per room, which we have 10 pre-booked right now, but it can cancel up to 30 days ahead of the actual time. There are 4 to 6 per room, and some rooms have 2 beds and a pull-out queen bed in addition to that. The hotel is very nice and has a lot of good services that they offer for us, including complimentary breakfast, which was mentioned previously on our schedule previously, a 24-hour fitness center, an indoor heated pool, a basketball court, fire pit, and complimentary Wi-Fi. So we are very grateful for the opportunity to stay at this hotel.
Hi, I'm Vasiliki Kordakitis. I am Maskers historian, and I will be talking about food. So basically, our big dinner before, the actual, celebration day is on Friday, May 16th. It's, we cater an Italian dinner from Connecticut. We already have all the menu planned out with precautions of food allergies and anything else. Everything's already sorted out for our group. And as a sweet treat, we are doing a s'mores dessert provided by Maskers, funded. And on Saturday, breakfast is included with the hotel. And we're gonna have a late lunch / early dinner, so a dinner situation, where you can basically go out in groups of 3 or more and just go wherever, I guess around the area. The estimated price for your student or the students involved in this is $15 to $30, and whatever listed there is the restaurants or stores around, so you can go get that. And hoping we win any nominations or any awards, we'll get ice cream after. So we'll travel in one large group as a family and get insomnia cookies, or we get Ben and Jerry's. Students have to provide their own money again, which is $10 to $15. And for our final morning or day there, on Sunday, May 18th, we will be provided with breakfast from the hotel.
Hi, my name is Matthew Capalbo, and I am the upperclassman representative of Maskers. And I'm just going to talk to you a little bit more about the actual awards ceremony. So it's a great event, blue carpet, and it's a great time to take pictures, and we've gone the past 2 years, and it's always a lot of fun. So it consists of an opening and closing number performed by the students that we send down, typically seniors, a day earlier. And they rehearse that and perform it for everyone. And then the schools who are nominated for Best Musical get to perform one song from their show. So that takes up the bulk of the event, watching each performance. It's a great opportunity to see other schools. And finally, at the end, the awards are presented. So there are 14 different categories. We find out if we are nominated for them on April 28th. And depending on what category we're nominated for, whether it be a technical aspect or an acting aspect, there are different opportunities. So nominated leading actors and actresses get to go down a week earlier and learn their number that they'll perform at the gala. And that's how it's determined who wins that award. For the more technical aspects, such as lights and sound, we submit portfolios for each aspect that we're nominated for, and they're used to determine who wins that award. And overall, it's just a really great event. We've gone the past 2 years, like I said, and it's a lot of fun.
Hi, I'm back again to just go over a quick little summary of the slideshow and the pricing. So here is the price point for each person for each kind of broken up into categories. So transportation, lodging, food, and entertainment. So in total, this trip would cost about $350 to $400 per student, which is what we had told people when we had given them the opportunity to sign up for the trip. So that was proposed to them to begin with, and it's going to fall within that same price point. And the 7 of us as officers have been working alongside Ms. Pye and Ms. Kane to send in contracts to businesses, to pay bills to the 5 businesses listed at the bottom, such as the tickets for the actual gala or the B&B coach bus that we're renting out of Connecticut. So yeah, this is just kind of a quick summary of each bill that we'll be paying. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
I like the fact that you put on there that the ice cream's open till 1 a.m. and 12 midnight respectively. That's great.
Very organized.
No, this is fantastic. I mean, you guys have gone in the past and been very successful there. And so we're very, I know and I'll speak for the rest, say we're very proud to have you guys represent us, so this is great.
Thank you so much.
I agree with that comment. And a couple quick questions. Number one, hopefully this doesn't happen, but are you guys going either way?
Yes, we
Okay.
would be going either way
Not
to
continue.
attend the gala, whether or not we're nominated for any awards.
Okay, just to be there. And then with the nominations, like I know in the past you've like met in the media center or something and done it. Just curious, like if you ever want to like expand that more, make it like a fundraiser or something and sell tickets and, I don't know, do something. Like I think it could be a big event, like, you know, the nomination, so. But I think it's a wonderful event. Hey,
Always looking
any way you
for
can
new
make money, right? So.
Revenue.
I tried to find the stupid nominations. I couldn't get on last year, so I'm like.
No, they had a lot of trouble last year.
Right, there was a lot of trouble trying to figure out where they were, so, yeah, no, I have no other questions. I support this, obviously. Any comments, questions?
No, just so April 28th, that's the data.
3 o'clock, that's the day we find out.
All right, I remember last year too, I was trying to get on, I was like.
I'm
3
saying,
o'clock or
like,
something.
people might come and like, you know, put a big viewing on or something, I don't know.
My 4th grade daughter thought it was hilariously inappropriate. So that was like, that's fantastic.
Mean Girls?
She was like, Mean Girls. She loved it. She thought it was like the highlight of her December. She absolutely loved it. So great job, and I hope you guys take it all home.
That's awesome, we love to hear that, thank you.
My kids are still singing it, so. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the massacre trip.
I move to approve the Maskers trip for the Stephen Sondheim Awards.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Passes 5-0. Thank you, everyone. Good luck.
Thank you, good luck.
Okay, Dr. Daly.
Just wanted to take a moment to say that
Thank you.
both the show is fantastic and getting to see you perform in Wakefield, you guys knocked it, like, I have so much confidence in you guys moving forward, so.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
And you came to
Great
New
luck.
York 2 years ago.
I would be trying to do that again. That was so
Yeah,
fun.
it's a
It was
great
so fun to
concert.
see you guys.
Bye. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Great work, thank you.
Okay.
Great job presenting, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. You want to,
All right, thanks, you guys.
Bye.
okay.
You can introduce Dr.
What?
You can introduce Dr.
Yeah, I'm going to do the introduction first, and then you can stay for a couple high school things if you'd like. But Dr. Daly, I'll let you introduce our new high school principal.
Sure.
So,
Would you like to come forward?
huge crowd here.
As we know, we've been through quite an extensive and thorough search. We got to the place, we had 4 excellent finalists. We went through all of the different stages of that process, and, you know, I made the decision to appoint Dr. Meyer. She brings a background that is, she has a clinical background, she also has experience as a special education leader and as a building-based administrator at the high school level. I felt that she brought, I called it the triple threat a couple of times, and they're just bringing so much experience to the table. So I'm really happy to informally introduce her, and just if there's any questions from the group, you can come around this side if you'd like, because the mic will pick up. Congratulations.
Welcome. Any comments, thoughts, questions? Anyone?
I mean, I'm
Wow.
thrilled to welcome you here, and I had said, I hope it's not inappropriate to say, but I had said to Dr. Daly the night that you were here and answering questions, I said, I feel like she's already here. Like, I feel like she's already part of the community, and I think that kind of speaks for what everyone felt, that you have, you're really gonna bring so much to. It's a great school, you're gonna love it. We have we're lucky to have great administration, great families, great teachers, like you're gonna really be welcome, and we're happy to have you.
Thank you, I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I did feel quite at home here, so I will say. So I loved, the students were really welcoming. I was saying on my way in this evening that I came in the wrong door. You had great directions, but I came in the wrong door. So I came in down Main Street.
Oh, yeah.
It was very lost. And kids came right up to me. They're like, are you okay? Are you lost? Are you okay? So I'm like, I really do need help right now. So it was a wonderful way to enter the building. And everyone was just very kind, and it feels like a family here. And I'm very old. I was raised old world. I'm old fashioned in that way. So family means a lot to me, and I would love to be part of a community that does feel like everyone is family. So, so thank you. It's an honor to have been.
We're
nominated
thrilled.
to be here.
Yes.
Well, let me just say, as on the school committee, I mean, we appreciate you being here, but more importantly, we are here to help you guys. So if there are things we can do to help you, to help our administration, just let us know.
Thank you.
That's our job.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, even though Tim didn't want, I'm totally kidding. No, I'm totally
Wow, at least Jem's not
kidding.
here.
No, we were all there. I know.
The truth
No.
always comes out, is that it?
I want to start with praising Dr. Daly, because I think the process was an excellent process from what I saw. Like, I wasn't on the committee in the beginning, but I just thought it was a very open process. I, heard about all the different components to it, and so I think this is a very important hire. We've had a lot of very long-term administrators, which we hope we will continue with that path, and, very much appreciate having that continuity. So I think making the right hire is really important. I feel like North Reading High School is in a good place right now, and sometimes it's the hardest thing to do is take a good situation and make it even better. And so, I remember, listening to you speak, and I think you definitely have all the capacity to do that. And I don't know, like Jeff said, we're here to support the administration, and, really appreciate you, accepting the job first and foremost, and wish you all the best on the years ahead at North Reading. So thank you.
Thank you. I look forward to being here a long time, hopefully.
Definitely.
And
We
yeah,
got 2 freshmen for you next year, right?
Oh, good.
yes,
Right.
I have. Yes, yeah, we both have 8th graders coming up.
Sorry-
I have one
sorry
already
to
in there.
alarm
I have
you,
one
but-
already up there. So.
No pressure.
Okay. Well, thank you very much and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and then we're gonna go back to continued business first. We have a couple high school things to start with, and the first is update on local graduation requirements. Dr. Daly, you wanna lead us in this?
I just wanted to share what we've updated here. The policy and the graduation requirements go hand in hand. I'm just going to share the screen.
Always logs on.
This is our updated program of studies, just about ready to go. And what we've done here, it's not red line, so you can't see, but we have graduation requirements. I believe it said local in the past. We made it very clear here throughout. And so our high school principal, Ms. LaPrette, worked on this to update along with the rest of the team, Ms. Alonso, Mr. Rosa as well. But we did share it with policy subcommittee because they went hand in hand, even though this isn't policy. I wanted to make sure that the policy language, it was clear what we were talking about. And so we very clearly now have also laid out that there is both a state requirement for competency determination as well as the local graduation requirements. And then under this one heading, we now have our local graduation requirements, so it's clear that it's the local graduation. Mostly the same as what was here before. We did add a little bit of clarity with the mathematics classes. We also very clearly put in, there are 2 state laws in addition to the phys ed law that was already in there. First is about the students must participate in the history of genocide education, which is a part of, and followed up in the social studies section, as well as students in their senior year engaging in a full civics action project. And so both of those are covered in history and social sciences. And then we talk about health, physical education requirement as well, and where that's met. And then we lay out the credits. And then right within the same section now, we have language about the competency determination. And so we clearly lay out that students will satisfactorily complete coursework that demonstrates mastery of skills, competencies, and knowledge associated with the 2023 MCAS. Those courses are named as Algebra 1 and Geometry, English 9, English 10, and Biology. And then we did have some language there that says other equivalent coursework may be considered if students are able to demonstrate skills, competency, and knowledge as approved by the principal or designee. We felt this gave us some wiggle room as we know, we're awaiting more guidance. There's a governor's council that's forming. We just anticipate that there may be some courses or some students that it's not one size fits all. And so we wanted to have a little bit of discretion there to think about other ways to demonstrate those competencies. But for many students, these will be the requirements that will be equivalent to 2023. And then there is some language there just speaking to students in class of 25 and 26 being able to still meet the competency through MCAS for those students who took MCAS prior to November of 2024. And then we actually explicitly reference that there may be further information coming. We then also speak to the accelerated support in English and math. There will be some courses that will continue to be offered to help students with MCAS and with other opportunities for accelerated support. That will continue. MCAS is still here, and it may serve multiple purposes to help with graduation, to help with competency determination as well. So any questions on just the local graduation requirement piece?
So my only question, 2 quick things. Number one, what you were just sharing, is this going to be in the handbook?
This is in the program of studies.
Program of studies.
And we've updated the policy language. I erroneously had handbook, it's program of studies.
Okay, and this is, we need to get something on the books now, but there's still the governor's council that might change, that's looking at just the competency determination, or are we set with this no matter what comes out of that governor's
Yeah.
council?
I think we would be adopting this. I don't anticipate the governor's council to change anything for this year or maybe even for next year. I feel like that's more of a long-term, what's going to happen to those classes after MCAS no longer counts, but it could come sooner. And I think we've written in flexibility here that if we need to make those changes, it's written right in.
Okay. Any other questions on this part?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Hearing none, let's move on to the policy.
Thank you. So, as I mentioned, this is essentially the same as what was shared at the last meeting. The one change was the words program of studies, where it's listed twice. I mentioned earlier it had said handbook, and that's the incorrect. This again clearly lays out that there are both local graduation requirements and a competency determination, and that those requirements are laid out in the program of studies. And then this just makes it very clear to everyone what the graduation requirements are. So we slightly updated our graduation requirements, added the word local, and spelled out that there's both a local and a competency determination.
Okay. And this is the second reading, so if we can have a motion to approve for a second reading?
I move to approve the second reading for the graduation requirements and competency determination.
And policy IHF.
Oh, policy IHF, yeah.
Okay. And do we have a motion?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on this? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. Goals update. So, Dr. Daly.
And Dr. Meyer,
Yeah.
thank you. I hope you approve of the new changes.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Ms. Alonso worked very hard.
Okay. Superintendent's goals update.
Sure, I just wanted to walk us through sort of the midpoint of the goals, just to check in for the second year, and just speak to them briefly. The first goal is really about advanced placement courses at North Reading High School. And so we're looking at our school improvement plans that we're going to be at all buildings, so reflecting goals with measurable outcomes. I meet with our principals monthly, and on the agenda at every monthly meeting is to review their school improvement plans, their school improvement plan goals, the data that's associated, and many of the principals' goals are directly related to those goals. They're intertwined. So we have a conversation about their administrator goals, we have a conversation about the school improvement plan goals, and then we talk about specific aspects that extend in each school. So at the high school, this is an ongoing conversation about what we're looking at with advanced placement courses, and what, having more diversity and more students in those courses. So this is an ongoing conversation. I do anticipate that this might extend beyond this year, because I think it's a long-term goal that we have, but the conversations are continuing. I don't know if you want to take a question on each goal, or just go to the end.
You just go to the end, I think,
Yeah.
and then.
Next goal is just about our process through, we have a new rubric. This spoke to using the administrator evaluation rubric. We're talking about, there are many tools that we're using. There are what to look for guides, culture responsive teaching guides. This is one of those goals that, my goal is met if Mr. Clean meets his goals and does his job, so I rely on him. We were speaking at length today about work we're doing with all our administrators to look at our educator evaluation process, how we're using it, how we're using these tools, calibration among the school. I'm a big believer in educator evaluation, if done correctly, can really be a tool to move the district forward. And so having that alignment and having us all calibrated is critical, and so we're actually implementing some steps sort of immediately that's going to, lead in nicely to the summer when we have 2 new administrators, 2 new principals coming into the district to carry that work forward. So this has been ongoing work that we're very excited about, and a lot of administrators have developed individual goals about calibration, and we're extending that. We want to see the entire leadership team, all our principals, directors, assistant directors, working together on some calibration. It's been a little while since we've done some of that work. We have a great video library that we're going to use, and then we also will talk about ways to maybe get into some classrooms. That's sort of a multi-year approach, but that's the work that we're doing there. I have been working on this. Obviously, we've got our 2 principal searches, sort of my front burner issues this year, but I have been updating all of our NRPS 2025 plan and rolling it into 2030. I have surveys sort of set to go out, but I'm waiting for the timing to be right to have some of those discussions. So I do have that process. It's a Back to the Future protocol, if you recall, where we flash forward to 2030, talk about where we want, what we want our schools to look like, and then we go backwards and say, what do we need to do to get there? So the work to collect this information from all stakeholders will happen this spring, and will lead into some of the work we're going to be doing over this summer. Obviously, this is a goal that would extend into the next cycle as well. We have our retreat scheduled in early August, and this will frame a lot of the work that we're about to embark on for the next 5 years. You will see through the budget process, we're speaking to 25/30, as we know that a lot of these goals are going to carry over. But that work is continuing. MTSS, our goal of having a tiered system of support at all 5 schools. The main focus of this goal in the second part speaks to what we're doing with Power Block and how we're working with that. There was a pilot. My understanding is that we piloted last year and we haven't really implemented anything this year. We're going to continue to have those discussions, but I do think this is a great goal to work with our new administration at the high school to think about how we can continue to use Power Block, what we learned from the pilot, and how we can continue to use that. To me, this connects very much to what we're talking about with MTSS and how we're having interventions. Conversations, everything about, our candidates talked about where Power Block falls in the day, how it's used, what it looks like, what an intervention block looks like at the high school level. So I look forward to Dr. Meyer, Ms. Alonso, as well as Mr. LaPrette working with me and continuing this goal. This is one, again, that I see kind of continuing, but there's work to be done this year that I will document on the updates as we approach the end of the school year. So that's just the update on where we are at this point in time. Any questions that I can answer?
Well, I'll first see, I don't know who was on the evaluation subcommittee, but evaluation subcommittee, do you guys have any thoughts or comments or questions?
No?
First,
I want to
no?
hear what you have to say.
Is it you and then Jen?
It's Jeff and
Jeff.
Jeff.
I
I'll do it with Jeff.
I have a couple of questions, but not necessarily.
No, go ahead.
Do you do exit interviews with administration that's leaving? So the principals that are leaving, do you do exit interviews with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that we've talked about since we've hired Ms. Soares as the HR administrator, what that exit interview looks like. It's something we probably should do and will do.
And I say it only because I've had a lot of success in my career doing those.
Yeah.
Not that I've had lots of people exit and go away from me, but it's a successful. I find it to be a successful tool. If people take it seriously and they really take the time to do it, you get a lot of good feedback that can help moving forward. So
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I will check in, and it's definitely something we've talked about as a goal. I don't often think about it with people that are retiring, but that's a great opportunity as well. Someone with that much wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Leaving. We've got over 30 years between the two of them for sure.
The other thing I'll say is, and this is less for you and more for the community generally, what we do now impacts years down the road, whether it's from budget or whatever. So when we talk about goals, the choices we make now sometimes are felt immediately, most often are felt down the road. So it's important to keep these things, to keep longer-term goals in mind as you're making current decisions, because you won't feel the impact of many of these things until 2, 3, 4 years down the road, when we start seeing scores, when we start seeing the results of this stuff. So, for anybody who might be listening, to me, that's the importance of keeping multi-year goals in mind while you're making current budget plans and making current priorities. So I appreciate you putting this together. Thank you.
Yeah. Kim, any question or comment? Jim, anything?
No, I don't think so.
So, Jen, any comments, by the way?
No?
So, I mean, I think I'll just applaud you for putting it together, and I'm very curious to see 2030's budget, or update with
Curious to see the budget too.
budget challenges. But my only question on the specifics was on educator evaluation. I know when we were able to hire the position that Ms. Caulfield's in right now, one of the main goals was to try to get people doing evaluations of people that are in their field of study. So I'm just curious if you have any data on like what percentage of our educators are being overseen and evaluated by somebody who is sort of in their field of study, and where where we may be lacking in that. I don't know if you have any
Yeah,
data on it off the top of your head.
I would say it's 50 to 100% better in the math science field with that position.
Right.
We have our humanities coordinator on the other side that we haven't been able to have brought forward.
And so who are they being evaluated by now then? Like if they're in the humanities, like is that you and Mr. Colleen or?
I only have 2 teachers that I still evaluate. They're both music band educators. And I am working very closely with a colleague in another district to try to help me be a better evaluator of music and band. That may be the epitome of, I love music. But I did teach in the arts, but I help them as much as I can. It's a question we can get a better answer to, but I will say overall, we have most of our administrators have a history, social science, more ELA background, and then they're evaluating broadly. I know Ms. Alonso has a world languages background, so as she's come in, we've assigned her a lot of our world languages staff. Dr. Downs evaluates many of our digital learning folks. And I'm just trying, and so then otherwise you're matching up with, if you have a history and ELA teachers are getting probably better support and feedback just because of that. So it was a big piece, and that's part of why we went with STEM first. I think it was something I'd heard consistently from our staff about, just because a lot of our administrators had the humanities backgrounds. It does help quite a bit to take, the ideal number that we speak of it's higher than what's recommended. We say about 15 people on a caseload. Our administrators still have 20, 25. Mr. Clean probably has about that many. Mr. LaPret has about that many.
I'm out of that meeting, sorry, just popped out, so whoever that was, you'll have to admit them.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right on the numbers.
So we are trying to, continue to do that. So we have a creative solution with another position that we feel cost neutrally, we can have someone in a position where they can pick up some evaluations, which should lighten the load and balance the load a little bit better. Because our goal overall is to get our administrators into classrooms more. It's the best part of what we do. It's such an integral part of what we do. So it's really important for us to do that.
Okay. Thank you very much. I don't have much other than that. We don't need to vote to approve this, right? Correct? Right.
I
Okay.
will present my final information to you in the summer, and that
Okay.
would be the summative evaluation.
Okay. And then school committee update? Ms. Rudloff, are you
Yeah,
leading us
no,
on
I'm
that?
sorry, I didn't get anything visual over to Dr. Daly, but I did do a brief survey of just where we are with our goals. So I can just walk everyone through that. In terms of starting out with our leadership and governance goals, we have the energized school committee members of Tim and Jen that are really knocking it out of the park with their some of the things they're doing here, so it's great. One of our goals is to do a professional development session related to school committee responsibilities, and that has been started, spearheaded by Tim. And the topic is topic's going to be special education and associated costs and consideration, but we don't have a date yet.
You look surprised. Is that not the case? Okay.
No one looked at me as if I should be surprised.
Oh,
I
no,
thought it was
no,
fine.
like you are surprised.
The maskers were new, so I wanted to put my best.
And again, involving local, state representation. You've reached out both to Brad Jones and Bruce Tarr.
Jen's reached out to Bruce Tarr, and
Yep,
I think we have to figure out on the committee what we want, when do we want them to come, and if there's specific topics or questions.
Oh, sorry, they're already coming.
Yeah,
I've met with
Go ahead,
both of
Jen.
them individually. I met with Representative Jones last spring, actually before the override, and then I've met with him again in the fall, and then I just met with Senator Tarr recently. Talked a lot about special education, Tim, and some bills that Senator Tarr has filed and things like that, and they are both coming to present to us and for us to ask questions and things like that on March 24th.
March 24th?
It's also the night of the middle school presentation, so we've asked them to come after that, so they're scheduled for 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
Any other night they could come?
Why? You're not going to be here?
Not gonna be here. I'll be in New York.
You
Okay.
can remote in, because that's what you like to do when you're in New York.
If I'm not seeing a show that night.
Let's see, we've already hosted one, joint meeting of town boards. And do we plan to do another one?
I think
Yeah,
we're gonna
that was
do another
successful.
one. I mean, the budgetary issues are not a school issue, they're a town issue, and so I think we're gonna have another joint meeting when we start talking about
I think that's
operating
where it
budgets.
becomes particularly helpful, honestly.
Yes.
We're gonna try and do it as soon as practically possible, I would say.
It'll probably be end of this month, early March, so.
So probably before we do the session for the school, which I think is, we're right around there.
Maybe, yes. Either right before or right after, I think, so.
Okay. Let's see, in terms of supporting the superintendent communicating to the town the impacts of the budget, speaking of the budget, there has been a policy written to create a North Reading School Committee page to help educate the public on this. And that will include communicating impacts of the budget. And the social media policy has been created and approved, and probably will start being implemented during the upcoming budget season. Let's see here. If I'm missing anything, let me know, because Scott, I didn't plug in everything here that you sent me. In terms of school committee goals around educational programs, equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging, there's been participation in a working group. And in terms of the outdoor time and recess, Jen has reworked both the health and wellness policy in regards to recess, and it's been discussed several times during subcommittee meetings and K-12 action, and expect it to go to the full school committee in March. And let's see.
Just don't do that on March 24th.
March 24th can be a busy day. And some of the other goals on family and community relations. We had talked a little bit about how to extend outreach to the community members and finding opportunities to involve the entire community in student events, school events. And I know Tim has brought this up at athletic subcommittee, and I have brought it up at the fine arts subcommittee in terms of looking at creative ways that we can involve the community in some student programs. I know that they, am I right that Notorious, somebody is performing at, or at least they were exploring performing at, why can I never remember the name of the place across
Senior Center?
across town?
Martin's Landing?
Martin's Landing. I think they were looking at that. I can't, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I have a block. So, anything else? Did I miss anything, Jeff? Because I didn't get any.
No. I will fully publicly admit, I've just been swamped, so I haven't been able to do updates.
I think most of the budgetary ones, like looking at fees and all that, it just depends on, we're just not at that stage of the year yet. And
Yeah.
except for the bus contract, we're done with that, so that was one that we did knock off, so. Thank you very much. Okay, routine matters, we have minutes, so January 13th first.
I need to borrow this. My computer's. Move to approve the meeting minutes from the January 13th open session of school committee.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second, we'll do a roll call vote. Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 5-0.
Okay, move to approve the meeting minutes from January 27th open session regular meeting as written.
Second.
So for discussion, it said that Jen was not there, but I think she did arrive. I think she was just maybe a little late, because she was definitely at town meeting. And I think
Yeah,
I was not.
I wasn't late. We had the meeting before, we had the meeting ahead of time.
yeah, I didn't know if you were late or not, but like, yeah, so Jeff was not there.
Jeff was not there.
You had it listed as Jeff, but you also had Jen not there at the regular meeting, but she was there at the town meeting, so, but I think we did have 4 in attendance for that.
That's
Yeah,
me.
I was at both.
Oh,
I'll fix the town meeting.
okay. So then, why don't we just do it as amended? Do you want to just amend the motion to say, as amended?
As amended.
Amended, okay, there we go. We have a motion as amended,
So town
that Jen
meeting,
was there.
just to be, town meeting doesn't say that.
No, the first one did.
First one.
The meeting before town meeting said that Jen wasn't there, and I was like, did she show up late or something?
Okay.
But she was there. Okay, and so then if you weren't there, you can decide if you want to.
No, I'll abstain.
Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Noel,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Jeff,
Abstain.
Jen,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well, passes 4-0.
All right.
Did someone edit? Because I mean, that's what it's.
No. So it said, I thought it said last, when I looked yesterday, so.
Okay.
In any event,
Remove amended.
she's there.
Okay, move to approve the meeting minutes from January 27th, open session town meeting.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Roll call vote. Noel,
Aye.
Tim,
Aye.
Jeff,
All right.
are you abstaining or not?
Oh, abstain, sorry.
Jeff's an abstain. Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 4-0.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I know there's no written budget update, but I'm gonna ask if you were prepared, Dr. Daly, just on the budget update. Is there any update on grants and any impact to the current school year in particular, 2025?
Sure. Yeah, I think as we know, since our last meeting, there's been a lot of confusion across the state, across the country with freezing of federal funding, what the implications would be. It was a very hectic 48 hours, we'd say, and then it was sort of clarified that Title I and IDEA would not be impacted. If those had been impacted, we certainly would have seen positions impacted, immediate staffing, special ed classrooms, Title I classrooms. That was clarified. School lunch funding was clarified. There's still some confusion around other grants that are active. We haven't received anything on the school side that I'm aware of that has told us that there's any changes to existing grants that we have or any thing that we need to do differently with grants moving forward. There are several grants that are in the final stages of approval from the state that we have not received yet because I believe there is a holdup at the state level. So our Arts Cultural Vitality grant that we're doing all the work on and anticipating getting that, our diversification grant, we're waiting more information on that. Those two come to mind.
Would those be for the current fiscal year?
Current year.
And do you have an idea of the total dollar amount that we'd be looking at?
I can find out in just a moment. I know the arts grant is about 15,000. The diversification we put in for last year was 90,000. We put in for a little bit less than that this year.
Okay.
So these grants and many other grants, I just will say in general, there's
Right.
been a lot of discussion on grants. Grants are very important to what we do in our district, whether it's primary support in our classrooms or secondary support. You know, allowing our educators, bringing in experts, our teachers, our administrators, to come together to explore important topics and to be compensated for their time. A lot of grants have allowed us to do some of that work. We've explored social media, cell phones. We've explored social emotional learning, hate crimes, bias, diversification. So we can present more on that. I know Michael Connolly in the budget book has a very detailed few pages that outline all the grants, whether they're state, federal, whether they are, there are some grants that are called entitlement grants, which follows a formula. Title I, IDEA, some other grants that fit that. And then there are competitive grants that we have to apply for. Mr. Klee, myself, Ms. Cohn, and others will write a grant, apply for it, and then hopefully receive it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Staffing updates?
So we have a new building substitute, Luke Palais at the middle school, and Dr. Meyer, who I introduced tonight, is the principal for the North Reading High School. We had a resignation of Nicole Catino as a building substitute from the high school.
Thank you very much. Bids and donations? Friedman?
1 second. The school committee, I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation in the amount of $1,200 from the North Reading Hornet Hall of Fame to be used toward fitness equipment at each elementary school and the middle school at $300 each.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second, we'll do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude an in-kindness donation of IHT health monitors valued at $4,854 from the North Reading Community Impact Team to be used toward North Reading Middle School mindfulness programs.
Second?
We have a motion, we have a second. Do a roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 5-0.
I move that the school committee vote to accept with gratitude a donation in the amount of $1,400 from the North Reading Hornet Hall of Fame to be used toward a wall pad for the fitness center at the North Reading High School Middle School, for the North Reading High School Middle School.
Second?
The motion, we have a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well, passes 5-0. That all?
That's it.
That's all.
Yep.
Mr. Buckley,
Grant?
I'll just note, we did discuss it this morning at the CIT advisors meeting, those donations coming from the coalition. It's really a great science experience. Students are going to have baseline data on their heart rates, and then they're going to do some relaxation activities and just be able to see quantifiably how it's affecting their health, which I think is a great addition to some of the work we're doing at the middle schools.
Yeah.
When we talk about anxiety, it's great to know ways to relieve that. So
That's part of the MTSS, right?
And-
6th grade?
It's a part of, it's a part of all that work, but I will speak to just, when we talk about grants and federal funding, some of those are affecting the town side as well, and so that's, the schools indirectly benefit. It's such a great benefit, the work that they're doing. It's hard to call it indirect, but that's just another example of how we directly benefit.
Are they doing heart rates or EKG? What are they, is it just heart rate?
Yeah, I think
But you have a 6th grader, you got an email about this, I think, no?
I
think
thought
the
maybe it
MTSS.
was something on the wrist. I don't quote me, I can't remember
That's okay.
exactly what it was,
I missed it.
but, yeah.
I filled that
I
out,
think it's heart rate, though. That would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Resting heart rate.
I can donate some of my
yeah.
heart rate measures.
Okay, grants?
Just very quickly, I did, this is my addition, the Executive Office of Tech and Service and Security from the state has awarded us, I believe this is year 6 now of the Cybersecurity Awareness Grant. It's not a monetary donation, but we have access to a very robust platform that, the KnowBe4 platform, allows our staff to engage with phishing simulations, and it consistently tests our staff. If staff makes a mistake, they're assigned a series of modules as well. There is a community module that we are going to launch. We were talking again today, there's a program that the Veteran Services and the Senior Center are doing with just understanding and using devices, with matching students with seniors. So I said that might be a great way to do it. That idea is something that I've thought would be wonderful, is to not only send it out to the community, but to have people and kids there with you to answer some questions as we try to launch that. So this is I've said many times, you've heard me say, when I've taken these, I say it's my parents that need to do this, and this is a great opportunity to share it with the whole community. So I'm excited about that, and we'll continue to do this work with our staff every year. It's a really great dashboard, lets me see where we are and areas we might need to focus, reminders for all of this very important cyber safety work. So we're thankful to the state for supporting us with this.
I think that's a great idea to do that with the seniors as well. I know there's a group of middle schoolers that goes over to the senior center somewhat regularly, because
Yeah.
I have signed permission slips for that as well. Do we want to there's nothing to accept, is there? Do we want to accept anything on this or not?
I want to accept the grant itself. There's
Okay,
not a.
that's fine.
But I mean, if we had to put in a system like this, it would be
Right.
thousands of dollars, so.
Okay. You want to make a motion to accept the grant here?
Someone else can make it.
Let's see, I
This is the
move
name of
to
it, yeah.
accept the, access or the.
You say the 2025 municipal cybersecurity.
2025 Municipal Cybersecurity Awareness Grant Program.
Second.
There we go. We have a motion, we have a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Passes 5-0. Thank you. We did overnight trips. School committee social media. Discussion? None? None at this time. Subcommittee update, CIPC met January 30th. Mr. Sutherland will provide an update.
Yes, so, not January 30th and one update, so January 30th and February 6th. So we actually had back-to-back meetings. Fire, police, Hillview were the groups that presented. And very informative and no shortage of projects, right? Talking about all the vehicles that need to be replaced. Hillview's done an outstanding job of maintaining their own revenue, so outstanding job to that team there, bringing in, improving the golf course and bringing in revenue for the commission there, so that's great news. I think that's it. Well, after this, we have a few more to go, and then we'll do prioritization.
Mr. Buckley,
Yes.
we're presenting on Thursday.
Thursday?
The
Okay.
school's presenting to CIPC.
Wonderful. Are you walking the hood in the little school? Is that where you're going to for the?
It's just it's a visual presentation,
Okay.
but we are talking about the modular units
Modulars, yeah.
among
That was what I
other
was-
FY '25 and '26.
It'll be the same. that
You need me on there, too?
discussed,
Huh?
What, 2 months
You need
ago?
me on there?
CIPC?
Yep.
I mean, for that presentation.
I don't
Do you
think.
need anybody else on the presentation?
Tim is on the
Right.
board, so no, we're good. It'll be, Mr. Connolly will take.
That's why we're
the
asking
lead.
if you need access to it. Totally kidding.
Mr.
Oh, you're
Connolly,
0 for 2 today,
uh,
Scott. I'm writing this down.
Mr. Connolly's done a great job preparing it. I'll be there, Mr. Campagna, Director of Facilities, and Dr. Downs, Digital Learning. We have technology requests, facilities requests, that will highlight what we did last year, update on those projects, what our requests are for next year, and then a projection of the next 3 to 5 years as well.
Okay. Policy Subcommittee, Ms. Leanders, you want to update us?
I think we went over the graduation requirements again, which we talked about earlier in the meeting, and health and wellness. And I think were those the 2 issues again?
I would just add Title IX, we're discussing that. We're
Oh,
gonna have
yeah.
an update on Title IX soon. We are following the 2020, we're back to those
Yeah, we had to go back,
requirements. And then we did have a broad discussion about some updates related to immigration policy and residency that I think we're gonna continue to discuss.
Okay, thank you. Finance Planning Team, Mr. Friedman, you want to update on?
Yeah, we met last Friday. I mean, without getting into too much specificity, because we're just not there yet. We're obviously starting to talk about shortfalls. Not quite impact of that, but still just generally shortfalls, not just for school, but for the town overall. And as well as some potential opportunities for the town to make other investments and things they're looking at. I know it's pretty vague, but I don't think they're ready to be formal announcements about this stuff yet.
Okay. Subcommittee schedule, CIPC. Any other subcommittee updates that are not on here?
We were supposed to have fire nuts, but it was
Snow day.
postponed because of the snow.
Correct. Subcommittee.
We were
yeah.
supposed to have master planning, but it was postponed because there wasn't an update from the firm. But there is some members of the committee going to visit the Women Senior Center, just to get an idea of other places.
Thank you. Subcommittee schedule, CIPC scheduled to meet February 11th, as Dr. Daly just mentioned. Policy Subcommittee, what?
Sorry, 13th.
13th.
Move to the 13th.
February 13th,
Yeah.
as Dr. Daly just mentioned. Policy Subcommittee is also meeting on February 13th at 3 p.m. Finance Planning Team is February 28th at 8:15. Athletic Subcommittee is March 12th at 12:30. Fine Arts Subcommittee is April 17th at 3:15. Administrative report, Dr. Daly?
Thank you. Just a few items here. Just a quick update on the EF Little Schools principal search. The job has been posted. We have an interview committee formed. Thanks to Gina Sacco, Assistant Director of Special Education, Morgan Soares, Human Resource Administrator. We're looking forward to, we've got, I'm thinking we'll have over 20. We're at, I believe, 9 as of today, and we still have the rest of this week and all of next week. And what we saw with the high school was a lot of people came in, and we did that on purpose, giving people break to be able to get everything together, so.
And you're talking about candidates for
Candidates
the
that-
position, not the committee itself.
I'm sorry, the
Yeah,
committee
okay.
is 10, and that's
Right.
formed, I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
Candidates that have submitted, yeah, and they're certainly already in that pool, some very attractive candidates to consider for interviews. So we're excited about that, those next steps.
Excellent.
Our field naming committee came together on February 3rd. We discussed all the nominations that were submitted. By the deadline of January 17th, there's going to be a public hearing on February 24th at 7 PM in this room as a part of our, we'll take a break from our school committee meeting for the public hearing. The nominees are as follows, and I have notified the nominees that they've been nominated. For the multipurpose field, Charles Carucci and Joe Davis. For the softball field, Gerald Venezia and Jennifer Casoli-Vant. There's a typo there, I'll fix that. And the nomination letters will be shared with the school committee and the field naming committee ahead of this meeting. The suggestion of the committee is that we limit the discussion to those folks that are named here. We would entertain, we would recommend entertaining discussion around possible other locations but we felt that to open it up to any new names at the hearing would defeat the purpose of the committee. But there was great representation and great discussion. I will just say all 4 names here are worthy of discussion and recognition. It is an honor to even be nominated, to be discussed, but they've done tremendous things for our community. So I do feel that we'll hear from more of our community at the hearing. And then from there, the committee will, you don't need to decide that night, you'll take it into consideration and make some decisions that night. Any questions about that process?
My only, I guess, comments on a couple different ways is, we've commented before that it might be that we decide it's not the time to do anything on one or both of those. But also I'm wondering if we ever wanted to, if we'd even consider doing like a joint one, like Carucci Davis, field, or, the VV, Venezia Vant. I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but I'm just saying that's another possibility theoretically, is you could do a combination. I'd be interested to hear, I know all the nominees, but I'd be interested to hear, I'm interested to hear at the hearing, the reasons for that and what they've done, because I think we all probably know most of those people in different aspects, but we haven't seen.
Yeah, like I said, I will share ahead of that meeting, I will share, probably even a little sooner than the typical packet, the nominations, that information as well. There were a few other names that were mentioned that didn't make it forward as sort of the main focus. All of these people had multiple nominations, and there was one nomination just for, the player athlete, but we decided we like the concept, and we can discuss it, but we didn't bring that forward. One of the reasons was to think when we have other fields named for specific people, why would we choose one field just for the player athlete? Then that kind of would eliminate that particular field from having a name, and so we didn't quite go in that direction. I don't know if Tim or Jennifer wanted to share anything else that came out of that.
Yes, I know what you were saying about the double name, because just being on the committee hearing the nominations, they all seem very worthy. So to think about making a decision like that. But I think Dr. Daly mentioned there may be some other creative ways that we could, honor some of these people. And I like the double naming, that's one thing, but I think there were some other ones brought up at the committee too around the athletic facilities and things like that. And then Dr. Daly, so on the 24th is when, I know we heard from people who nominated or heard the letters in the committee, but are are we asking other members of the public to come and give their input, or just the people who nominated them?
It's a public hearing, so the entire community is invited. It's been published in the transcript, like any other public hearing, so there's a notification there for the last 2 weeks. I also put out a Blackboard Connect as well.
So because someone had asked me, you know, they hadn't attended these meetings, that it's encouraged then.
It
I know it's
is.
public hearing, but yeah, okay.
Yep, yeah, it's encouraged to come. I know that we will hear from, I've heard from some people who are definitely coming that we're nominating. I've also heard from even one of the nominees has some ideas and suggestions as well. So we may hear from some of the nominees. So I think there will be a good contingent in the room. And I think that, yeah, it's certainly encouraged for people to participate in the public hearing. Again, I don't recommend that we entertain new ideas, because I think that should go through the whole process. You know, we can certainly do it again, maybe next year, because it'll be a tight timeline with town meeting and everything.
Yeah.
But I think we have some great candidates to discuss on the 24th.
Okay. That's the administrative report.
Cybersecurity, and then finally, just wanted to share the Charles Jones Award presentation. A little bit different this year. We don't know the winner. The winner will be announced later this week, but the ceremony is Friday morning. And so we had a great response in terms of nominations. And a lot of these educators received multiple nominations. So thank you to everyone in the community who took part and took the time to share this. All of the nominees are aware that they are nominees, and they are invited to attend the ceremony, which is at 10:26 a.m. Friday morning on the intersection of Main Street and Charles Jones Way. Anyone from the public that would like to attend, I've asked that you just reach out to me just to let me know so we can make a combination. Same with the school committee. If you're able to come, we'd love to have you. Just let me know, and I'll make sure there's seating for everyone there. There will be a virtual option to view as well. It's always a wonderful time. There was a fundraiser that was held as well, and I know that they've raised some funds, and hopefully this will be able to continue for many years, because it really is a bright spot in the middle of our year for everyone in our community. So,
Thank you very much. Correspondence, none at this time.
none at this
Future business, we have a meeting on February 24th with that public hearing we were just talking about. We'll talk about digital learning. March 10th is the first budget presentation. And March 24th, we will be looking at the middle school presentation. And it sounds like from Ms. Leanders that we will have Senator Tarr and Representative Jones in attendance as well. So that is it. I'll just entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do a roll call vote. Noel?
Aye.
Tim?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Jen?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. Passes 5-0. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Thank you.